What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Hope everybody's well out there. Happy New Year, a second time. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Um, no sound machine this week. No sound machine this week. Maybe I have it together next week. I'm still on location, fellas, up here in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know what to think about Portland right now. Um, got some other things going on, but fans, I hope everybody is well. I hope everybody in Southern California is safe from the fires, Cleveland. I gotta ask you this, Cleveland. Have you lost your wallet before?
It's a really funny story, Cameron. My dad trained me in such a way that I would never lose my wallet. And I had an experience maybe I want to say 3 years ago, and it was so surreal. It's like I looked around my room just in a very general way, like not looking for anything in specific, but I looked around and I'm like, where's my wallet? So my dad has always trained me to always know where your wallet is. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not where it's supposed to be. So I went down to my car and it was literally, I don't know why, but it was like underneath the under part of the car where your driver's side door is. And I was like, wow. All those times, like when you're like a kid and you think like, yeah, 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 yeah. But it just trains you to always know where your wallet is. And
So there was a moment then, there was a moment of despair. There was a moment of trying to remember all everything that was in there. There was a moment of what would you do without it, right?
oh, for sure, for sure. Oh yeah, all the different credit cards you would have to cancel and
Right. All the calls you have to
all
make,
the
everybody you
calls
need
you
to
have to
contact.
make, and oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean
there's
it
quite a
was
bit
worth
that is.
it was a little worse before cell phones fans. It was a little worse before cell phones because you had, this business card or this phone number or this, on a piece of paper you'd have two or three numbers if you didn't have a little black book that either it was just a important context that you needed to keep or names you needed to reference. Cleveland, just in that little moment of despair that you had. I don't know how you went lifetimes without losing a wallet. I've lost a couple of them. But Cleveland, can you imagine your house burning down and losing everything?
No.
Pictures, valuables, heirlooms, um, memorabilia, everything, anything you would have collected, Cleveland. That's what's happening in Southern California.
Yeah.
Like whole homes, histories, generations of stuff
Yes.
is gone, just gone poof. I mean, it took a little longer than poof, but it's just gone, Cleveland. And I brought up the wallet because everybody, except obviously Cleveland, has been through the situation where you've lost your wallet and you in that moment where just like your credit cards, your driver's license. Now you have to go to DMV. Now you have to make sure you know where your birth certificate is or your social security card is, so you can confirm at the bank who you are. You are who you say you are. Cleveland families have lost literally everything. And last week we were joking around. We were joking about Kawhi Leonard taking the game off and was he going to go drive the fire truck? Was he running up for water holes? Was he giving directions or and passing out supplies? Um, Unfortunately, it was at that time Kawhi Leonard and the rest of the millionaires that live in Pacific Palisades. They have. I don't know if you saw the visual of them getting out of their cars and leaving their cars in the middle of the street because they wanted to get away from the fires. Well, all those cars were charged. All those cars were charged. The next couple of days, they had to become bulldozer trucks, or bring bulldozer in there so the fire trucks can get up through the street, to do what they need to do to try to save some homes. And at the time, I was thinking, last week, I was thinking a lot of those homes are rich people's homes where they have the means to, they can't replace everything, but they can replace a lot of things. And days later, it moves. Another fire breaks out in Altadena, where they're not as rich as the folks in the Palisades, but they're still well-to-do off. And this is the history of their homes that was being burned up. I had a couple of friends' houses. Their childhood house was burnt to a crisp. My aunt's house was burnt to a crisp, to where there's nothing there. So shouts out to those people, the firefighters, the first responders in California. If you guys, and I just want to say, if you lost your wallet, and I have done it a couple of times, so not intentionally lost my wallet, but I've lost my wallet a couple of times, and had to stand at the DMV to try to get it replaced. Had to write letters to the Social Security company, Social Security card office, just to try to get it replaced. And those moments, that doesn't that's not reflective of everybody losing their whole homes and everything that they worked hard for, but you can understand in that moment of despair what that feeling is like, of how these guys are going to have to go through the steps they're going to have to take to rebuild their lives. So prayers up for Southern California. I was just down there. Spent a week down there with my family and friends. But the fires these fires happen every year. Every year the fires happen every year, just because it's so dry. And because it doesn't rain. It hasn't rained in 8 months. They had 1 millimeter of rain in the month of December. That doesn't even chart, Cleveland. That doesn't even chart. So that tells you, you've been down there. That tells you how dry it is. That's the prices that you pay for that sun all the time. Is the land is so dry, it's so brittle, and anybody can strike a match, throw a cigarette out their car on the freeway, and boom, that's a brush fire. And then if somebody's not right on it to contain that brush fire, it can just go and go and go. So once again, shout out to the people in Southern California who's lost everything, who's lost a little bit and everything, because I could not imagine losing the home that I've worked so hard for. And insurance or not, I was talking to one guy, and I was like, he was worried about, he's like, man, I got to get home. And I was like, well, you got insurance, right? He's like, yeah, man, but I got insurance, but my insurance isn't going to cover my 19 years of how we built our house and what's in our house. Our insurance is going to give us, half of that. If the house goes and is gone, is not livable, we're going to have to come out of our pocket. If the house is worth $400,000, they're going to give us $250,000. I don't have $150,000 coming out of my pocket. I don't have $150,000 to rebuild my home. So now what do I do? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are in trouble, man. And it's just, like I say, last week I kind of joked about it, thinking it was only the rich people who had the means to not replace everything, but replace a lot of things, who can leave, who can go to Laguna Niguel, living in a $4,000 a night hotel, and that'd be fine. They can stay there for 2 or 3 months till they figure it out, till they find them a nice apartment in Newport Beach or Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach. They can do that. They're still living comfortably, but that fire moved to where it start impacting a lot of people who live like you and I, whether it's month to month, have a 90-day save reserve in the bank, they live more closely to us. And again, just want to give a shout out to all those people. Shout out to the first responders, the firemen, the paramedics, the people at the Red Cross, the people at the centers housing these people. Shout out to Airbnb for putting up some of these people who lost their homes and giving them a place to live. I mean, it's a lot going on down there in Southern California, based on these fires that are just. You can see it's why it's a recipe and it's a breeding ground for destruction, but at the same time, um, some people say I heard one person say, I don't know why they would live in that area, considering this happens every year. Well, Cleveland, if you've been down through the Palisades, if you've been through the Pacific Palisades a day in your life, it's easy to see why they live in that area. For and when they rebuild, why it's going to feel right back up. It's easy to see who. I mean, the weather is 68 degrees. It may get to 74 one day. You got views of all the Pacific Ocean. It's easy to see. It's easy to understand why that area is just going to rebuild itself. But again, it pales in comparison to what these people have gone through. So I just wanted to say that before we get the show started. Shout out to the people in Southern California, all the people who's lost their homes, who's I mean, there's been minimal deaths, 25 deaths. I say minimal because in consideration to everybody who's had to evacuate, that's a pretty small number. But bless you if you lost your mom, your aunt, your uncle. Bless you in that regards. But I just had to get that off my chest, Cleveland. So thank you guys for bearing with me. Fans, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam, got my man Cleveland. Cleveland, it's cold up here in the Northwest. It's cold up in the Northwest, buddy. Last night it was 34 degrees when I finally pulled into PO and got out the car, walking into the hotel. It was 34 degrees. I don't know what you're dealing with right now, but I haven't dealt with. I left Alabama where the frost came through there, and people whoever talk about there's no global warming. I mean, we have fires on one side of the country, and on the other side of the country, we have ice storms. So I left where I got out of the south before that frost hit. But Cleveland, it was cold. That 34 degrees kind of woke me up last night when I got out of the car. So what you dealing with today?
Cam, I love my dog Kobe to death, man.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Why are you laughing?
Because you got to get out there early in the morning.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
You got to go out there early in the morning.
This dude has his clock. Fans, I love my dog. I'm not gonna say anything different. This dog has a biological clock where he gets up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, starts whining and crying to get out of his cage. Subsequently, I now have a biological clock where I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and
it's a little brisk. It's a little brisk.
It's the dog whining and crying about getting okay. Let me get up and take the dog out. But no, I don't like it. I live on the third floor. Fans live on the third floor. So it's not like, oh, dog needs to go out. I'm just gonna open the door and go in the yard and run around and do your thing, come back in.
No, you gotta get up and you gotta put on some socks and walk around and you gotta get dressed to go brave that because again I said it was 34 and that was at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah. So imagine what it's like at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I can already imagine. I can already have fun with that one. Have fun with that one. But fans, again, January 15, 2025. This is the Voice of the Fans podcast, and this is how we get our show started just like this.
Am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name
Cameron.
is
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
All we want to see every year are the best two mothers getting in the ring and getting on.
I got some of this for you.
Goodness. For me?
Yeah, just for you.
Think about it like this: the promoter pays the fighter, the fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter, and the fighter works
Work for the promoter. Okay.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
Can I finish? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about these activities?
Aaron, like I was saying before.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
You were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
You look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do know that.
surprised at that, Cam.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's the big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sport.
Thank you for making our voice your choice.
If you haven't told your girlfriend about the show, tell her about the show. If you haven't told your boyfriend about the show, tell him about the show. If you haven't told your cousin, your uncle, your grandfather about the show, let everybody know about the Voice of the Fans podcast.
Hey man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do. Yeah.
What up, Snoop? What up, Snoop? Hey, Cleveland, have you seen this new video? How you listen to Snoop?
I keep hearing about it, man.
Oh,
and
yeah,
one cut that I heard was kind of dope, but I haven't seen the thing.
Oh my goodness! See, who don't like Snoop? Who's talking about who don't like Snoop on the real now?
I'm not even gonna get into all that.
Who don't like Snoop for real now?
You already know where you stand with all this, man.
Me and Snoop is cool. Me and Snoop is right there.
How could you?
Eye, Snoop. What up, Snoop?
You didn't have Snoop in your top 50, anyways.
January 15, 2025, the week 323 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Fans, you guys have been with the show. You know how we start this off with the numbers game. Cleveland, when you think of the number 15, who are that jersey number the best, or who comes to your mind first?
Cam, it's NFL football playoff season, so it's Patrick Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes.
That's no argument there. Had a conversation with an old guy at a restaurant tonight. The guy, just I don't want to age anybody, but the guy had to be 80 years old. I just kind of hate to put it out there, but the guy was.
Did he go with Lynn Dawson?
Huh? No. I asked him. I wanted to know. In your lifetime, he said he started watching the football in the 1960s. Okay, sir. Have you ever seen a better quarterback than number 15 for the Kansas City Chiefs? He said, no, absolutely not. I said, thank you. I could have ended the conversation there, but I just wanted that clarification, Cleveland, that I've been saying for years now, that there's not a better quarterback that you and I have seen, or anybody, our fathers haven't seen a better quarterback than that guy. And then he went on to say something that you're not going to like. And, I should have had him on the show, actually, because he said, that guy, they want to say who the GOAT is. That guy who was the GOAT, he's not actually the GOAT. He was on a very good team, and he played for a very good coach. I should have got his name and number and called him on the show. And because you guys aren't gonna believe, you guys won't even believe me. But that guy who they said is the GOAT, said exactly that thing. He said exactly what I've been saying to a lot of you fans and a lot of you people who don't understand NFL football. That guy you guys call the GOAT was on a very good team and played for a very good head coach. Period. And we'll continue. Cleveland, when you think of the number 23, there's really only one man who this can be. That man who entertained you during the pandemic and gave you the series, the epic series that everybody bought into. When you think of the number 23, Cleveland, who come to your mind first, or who wore that jersey number the best is a better question.
Oh, Cam, with that question, it's the King LeBron James.
Oh my goodness gracious!
On both reports.
I don't know about that, but yeah, okay, yeah. I think you'd have an argument again. Here's Cleveland avoiding
times.
Here's Cleveland avoiding anybody from the Pacific Northwest, so Jamal Crawford gets no love. I love you, Jamal, but this guy, my co-host, refuses to give love to anybody from the Pacific Northwest, and he chose that dude who's second or third all-time greatest. Come on, get out of here, Cleveland fans. We'll have our This Week in History segment later on. We'll end the show with a quote, but I got to ask Cleveland right now, Cleveland, this question that the fans are dying to know how you feel about this.
Okay.
Has there been a bigger collapse and a quarterback to lose as much money in 2-week time and probably like a 10-day time than Sam Darnold? I can't think of somebody who lost as much money.
I can't really think of someone that lost more, but did he really lose more? So I can't really say that he lost more.
What do you mean, did he lose more? Had he beat Detroit, he might have signed a new contract with the Vikings. Definitely if he beat the Rams, he signs a new contract. He's open for bid. If he beats Detroit and the Rams, he's open for bid. He just sends his name out to several teams in the NFL. Are you interested? Well, I'm taking bids. As it stands now, he'll be looking for a job next season. as it stands, we're gonna get you your guy Hewers in Texas. But Hewers can't find a job in college football, and they're passing money around like rice cakes. Hewers can't find a job, and that's Sam Darnold is not going to be. He's struggling. He's going to be struggling to find a job because your boy J.J. McCarthy is going to get that starting job next season. So
no, Sam Darnold still has a starting job next year.
No, buddy, you think is Sam Darnold is starting for the Minnesota Vikings?
Oh yeah. Have you seen J.J. McCarthy play?
I know you weren't a J.J. McCarthy fan.
No.
But they drafted him early. They drafted him with a number 1 draft pick.
Have you seen J.J. McCarthy play?
He had a whole year to heal.
You're not answering my question, dog.
No.
Have you seen J.J. McCarthy play?
None of us have seen J.J. McCarthy play.
Okay. So the other dude that you saw play got 14 wins in the league. Yeah.
Oh, so do you want Sam Darnold quarterback in the Seattle Seahawks?
No.
Oh, well, there it is. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Because I don't want him quarterbacking the Seattle Seahawks doesn't mean he's not going to quarterback the Minnesota Vikings. He certainly is going to do that next year. He'll be the starting quarterback.
No, buddy. He might be the starting quarterback going into training camp.
14 wins?
I don't think he's going to emerge as a starting quarterback.
Wow. I'm pretty sure they don't think Cameron. I'm pretty sure they don't think they're going to roll J.J. McCarthy out there and get 14 wins.
So Sam Darnold's contract expires this offseason. Are you re-signing him? Are you going to franchise him? What are you doing with Sam Darnold?
Either or.
You're not franchising Sam Darnold. What? Why waste your time?
Oh, you have to run it back. You're
running it back, Cleveland. After the guy was, we saw the ghost of Sam Darnold against the Los Angeles Rams.
After the guy won 14 games?
Oh, yeah, he won 14 games, but what was the last 2 games? The game
Oh
for
man,
first,
wow!
the game for number one in the division.
And you're so quick to jump off of bandwagons. It's crazy, man.
No. Listen, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm jumping off the bandwagon. He lost the last game to win the division, to be number one in the NFC.
Darnold guy just last week.
Nah, I was saying him and the coach. That was a great duo. Him and the coach. I'm sure.
Why
isn't
that a great duo now? Because he lost a game.
No, he lost 2 games. He lost the game to win the conference.
He won 14 more games before he lost those 2 games, right?
The game to listen to what I'm saying. The game to win the conference, he looked abysmal, and in the playoff games against the Rams, we saw the ghost of Sam Darnold from Jets past.
Oh, so like I was saying that he was going to regress back to the team and become Sam Darnold again, and you had wanted no parts of that conversation, did you?
And now it's happened. Now it's happened. Now you can pat yourself on the back. I know you want to do it. Go ahead. Go ahead and break your arm.
I'm just saying. Wow. So now all of a sudden, JJ McCarthy's the answer, and just not.
Well, I didn't say he's the answer. I didn't say he's the answer. They drafted him with their first round draft pick. And they got to give him a shot.
Cameron. He gets a 3-year, $140 million contract, $87 million guaranteed.
Who?
Darnold will get that.
You're ridiculous. You want to put some money on the Minnesota Vikings signing up to a 3-year deal? You want to put something on that?
I won't put anything on it, but
exactly.
That's going to happen. Yeah.
That I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's a good storyline, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
Speaking of quarterbacks returning to their franchise, does Russell Wilson return to the Pittsburgh Steelers, to your Pittsburgh Steelers?
Everything I'm hearing sounds like no. I don't know what direction they're going in, but it sounds like no.
All right. Your guy Mike Tomlin says when asked, we hear that rumors about you leaving and being in other teams inquiring about your services. What do you have to say about that? He says, save your time. Mike Tomlin, and sometimes Mike Tomlin is, he's very direct. You just save your time and moved on. And there was nothing else to say. Should Pittsburgh want him back, Cleveland? If they haven't won a playoff game, you keep throwing.
They should want him back. Yes.
So, not winning a playoff game in the last 8 years you're okay with that? You're good. That's okay with you?
They would want better results. Obviously, everyone wants to win playoff games. Everyone wants to get the Super Bowl every year. But, he's never had a losing season. Not one time in 17 years.
Okay, but he has not won a playoff game in
he's never had a losing season in 17 How many losing seasons have the Dolphins had in the last 17 years?
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Right quick.
I don't understand what the Dolphins have to do with that.
I'm getting to my phone right quick.
I'm not sure what the Dolphins have to do with this. I'm asking you about.
Can you tell me how many losing seasons the Miami Dolphins have had in the last 17 years?
I'm not sure what the Dolphins have to do with this. I'm not even sure. How relevant that is to what we're talking about. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin.
You want to do the research because you keep talking about my guy Tomlin like he ain't nothing.
But I'm just saying. So 8 years when does the seat warm up? When do you turn the switch on to warm the seat up?
3 seasons from now.
Is it 10 years? Do you need a decade of no playoff wins for you to start warming up the seat?
For sure, 3 seasons from now.
So you need more than a decade of no playoff wins for you to
look at some of these other franchises in the National Football League and what they've been able to do.
You keep wanting the whataboutism and look at somewhere else. I'm asking you about your guy. And your
last time the Chargers won a playoff game.
Oh boy, see here you go. I know you do. When we get to the Charger conversation, I knew this was going to excite you.
Oh yeah,
you gonna talk. Well, why don't we just jump into it? Yeah, I know this is going to excite you like a little kid on the playground.
Are you ready?
Like the little kid at recess. I know this is going to get you going.
Yeah.
I mean, since you brought it up, go ahead. Since you can't hold it no more, go ahead and get it off your chest.
Okay, Justin Herbert is a bust.
A bust.
He is not who you thought he was.
The quarterback with more passing yards in the first 5 years than any quarterback who played the game.
An Oregon Duck
no.
that comes to the NFL and fails. He's a quacker.
He called him a quacker.
Would you like me to name some of the other quackers that he's associated with, Cameron? I mean, I can. I mean, it's the Jordans.
I mean,
the Achilles Smiths.
Come on, man. You're comparing Justin Herbert to Achilles Smith to Marcus Mariota to Achilles Smith. Come on.
No playoff victories.
He said quacker. He said quacker.
He's a quacker. I said quacker, Shane. Come on.
He said he's a quacker.
Go back.
Shane, this is a part of the hate and disdain from one college team to another college team. That's what this is actually.
In addition, how many more playoff wins does CJ Stroud have over Justin Herbert?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what CJ Stroud is the guy you want to hold on to, who clearly had a son.
I asked a simple question: how many more playoff wins does CJ Stroud have over Justin Herbert?
What, 2?
Yeah, 2.
2. I mean, come on.
And how many playoff wins does Justin Herbert have?
I'm not sure.
He has 0. And in addition, Justin Herbert threw for 3 interceptions the entire 2024 season. How many interceptions did he throw in a playoff game?
Cleveland, did you watch the game? See, for somebody who doesn't like stats, for somebody who's not interested in stats,
so what you're not willing to say is that he threw more interceptions in the one playoff game than he threw the entire season, and they lost by 20 points, 32-12. They suck.
Again,
Justin Herbert sucks.
For a guy who doesn't
Herbert Lawrence
like
has more playoff wins than Justin Herbert. Herbert sucks.
Did you see who
Cameron?
Did you see who Herbert was throwing to though?
Cameron. Have you lifting weights currently? Does it not look like it? Nah. It doesn't look like it.
Listen to this guy. Have you you're doing fantastic. Keep going the word. Thank you guys for being a part of the show, man. Did you see who he's throwing to, Cleveland?
Yeah, I don't want to hear all your talk, man.
Cleveland, he is answer this question.
Everything.
Answer this question for me.
Well, then why did they get rid of all their receivers then? They didn't value them clearly.
Cleveland, answer this question for me. Please answer this question for me.
I will not.
Is Ladd McConkey?
Answer me this question for me. How many playoff games has Justin Herbert won?
Is Ladd McConkey a number 1 wide receiver?
Yeah.
He's a number 1?
Yeah.
Okay. In a fantasy football team, Ladd McConkey might be your all-star. He might be your go-to guy. I will give you that. On the actual football field, Ladd McConkey is a 3rd receiver at best. At very best, he's the number 3 slot receiver. At the very best. He was the best receiver on the field. He was the best receiver
Justin Herbert sucks.
Would you want Justin Herbert or Geno Smith?
Man, Geno Smith at this point.
Oh boy. You guys hear how unbiased this guy is? He said he went to Geno Smith at this point. Okay, we're moving on. You got anything? You got anything else to say about Herbert and Harbaugh and the defense?
A quacker. He sucks. He's a quacker. You paid him too much money. He's not who you thought he was.
You have all offseason to say that. You do. And nobody can argue with the numbers that you're spewing, the 4 interceptions in one game versus the 3 interceptions all season long. Nobody can argue that. He had a terrible game, but I urge you to note the receivers who were lining up for him.
No.
Justin Palmer wasn't getting it done.
I absolutely will not. It's Justin Herbert, supposedly.
What you like to say? What do you like to say about the quarterback, Cleveland? What's your favorite line you like to say about the quarterback?
No.
You can't throw it to yourself.
It's not about the quarterback. It's about the receiver. And what I say about the receiver is you can't throw the ball to yourself. But Justin Herbert is the one distributing the ball.
So when he throws a perfect pass to
Houston, the Houston Texans were 9-8, 10-7.
The fans, we're going to talk a little bit.
When we get record since September the 14th.
When we get to our pick segment, you'll understand now why Cleveland is so hard and fast against Justin Herbert.
And your weirdo coach Harbaugh.
Now he called the coach a weirdo. This is their first year. This is their first year. Cleveland, come on, settle down. This is Harbaugh's first year, and he came in and took over the team and got into the playoffs in the first year.
Beat the Houston Texans and lost by 20 points, and the quarterback threw 4 interceptions.
So when he throws the perfect pass to Will Dixley, he misses it, and it goes right in.
Gets all this blame, all this criticism, and then here comes Justin Herbert just throwing the ball around like he doesn't want to throw it to his own team.
When he throws it to his own team and they don't catch it, and they pitch it right into the defensive back.
Cameron, how many interceptions did Justin Herbert throw in that game?
I don't remember.
Okay, I remember. It was 4.
Oh my goodness!
One more than he threw the entire season.
Okay. Thank you, Shane. Did he throw? Is 23-3? Is that better than most quarterbacks in the league?
Justin Herbert sucks.
Cleveland, I don't know what to say because it's your hate, and this is pent up emotion, and these are pent up feelings. And again, fans, when we get to our pick segment, you'll see why Cleveland has this animus against Justin Herbert. When we get to our pick segment, should Deion Sanders be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? Do you like that move? Is Deion ready for the head coach of the NFL?
The hoopla and the money, everything that comes with that. Yeah.
You think Deion needs a few extra dollars?
From a success factor, no. He can't right the ship in Dallas. He can't. The ship in Dallas can't be righted. So you're just setting yourself up for failure.
That I agree with. And it's
being able to stay in college and recruit and do the Nick Saban thing.
He's a long way from Nick Saban now.
No, but what I'm saying is
he's in control.
I didn't say Nick Saban. What I said was when you're in college, you're able to recruit the best talent, and in the NFL, you're not able to do that. And when you're dealing with a owner/GM that's 83 years old and having trouble remembering where he parked his car, it's a tough job.
Well, that might be the opportunity for Deion to go in there who has a relationship with them and could say, Jerry, no, we should do this here. Do you think Jerry will listen?
Jerry didn't listen to Parcells. Jerry didn't listen to Jimmy Johnson. Jerry didn't listen to anybody.
Well, yes, because Parcells was a threat. Jimmy Johnson was getting too much credit for what he was doing. You see, when he brought in Barry Switzer, and he got to get on the microphone
just to get under Jimmy's skin. Yeah,
and he brought in Parcells just to try to make things work. But peer is not the right word. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. John Morant. Oh boy. Parcells wasn't a peer, but Dion played for Jerry. He played for him. So
where does that make him a good head coach in the NFL? Has he really actually when he's a good coach?
The whole good coach thing is a whole different conversation. He wouldn't get the job because he's the best coach for the role. He would get the job because he's the best person to get along and best suited to deal with Jerry Jones. That's why he would get the job. I'm not advising he would get the job because he's the best suited coach for the role. That's not at all what I'm saying. But because he can get along, he understands Jerry a little bit more. He might be able to bend Jerry's ear more than Parcells, more than McCarty was, certainly more than Jason Garrett was. He might be able to bend Jerry's ear, kind of convince Jerry to make this move rather than make this move, to sign Dak a little quicker rather than wait so long.
The 83-year-old Jerry Jones, that dude's delusional. He's out there.
Yeah, well, he may be. And again, that might make it easier for Dion to coach and convince him. He may be willing. It's going to be a circus, and if it's a circus, and Jimmy can say we're doing it versus I'm doing it, I think there might be some advantage there. I don't think for Dion I don't think Dion needs the job. Jerry needs Dion more than Dion needs the job. Now Dion just want to coach in the NFL. That'd be a good job to coach and get some practice.
About it, Cameron. This is the tip of the iceberg, man. This is the highest of the high. There is no greater coaching job than coaching the Dallas Cowboys.
It gets the most recognition. I wouldn't say Dallas is the best job to have.
It's evaluated franchise on planet Earth. So coaching that team for sure, yeah.
So you don't think
turn that franchise around would be significant.
And that's why you take the job if you're Dion.
Why you take the job if you're Dion? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you take the job. I don't think
you have to realize all the things that come with it. I mean, you're just setting yourself up for failure on so many other levels. But if you just want like just the cream of the crop, I mean, there's no better job on the planet if you're coaching football.
Dak says he's bummed about McCarthy leaving or not coming back. Your guy Micah says he's devastated. It's a devastating move about McCarthy coming back. If Dion doesn't take the job, who do they go after?
Oh, they don't know.
I mean, who would you suggest? If Jerry called you up, who would you suggest they go after?
I have no suggestions at this point because who's going to right that ship? I mean, anyone that comes in and wants to be a head coach, they have to realize that they're just going to be part of a great big circus. I mean,
does a guy like Brian Flores get that role?
No.
Would he do well in that role?
Well, sounds like he's about to get locked in on that Jacksonville spot.
Well, we can forget about Jacksonville for the next several years. Does a guy would Pete Carroll take that job?
No.
He wouldn't be good for the job? Pete Carroll's name also been mentioned around for the Bears job. Would you hire Pete for the Bears job or for the Cowboys job?
I would hire Pete for the Raiders job over the Bears job or over the Cowboys job.
Pete for the Raiders is a novel situation because Pete puts on the Raiders gear. I mean, there's already a third of Los Angeles is Raiders fans already. Pete put on that Raiders gear. Now you got another third of Los Angeles as Raiders fans instantly the moment he puts on the gear, and that's not a bad suggestion. That's not a bad suggestion at all. But you don't have any suggestion for Jerry? If Jerry called you up, you don't have any suggestion for him? Like who he should go after as a head coach?
I have none. Yeah.
Mike Vrabel signed with the Patriots. Do you like that hire? They fired our guy.
Well, it makes a lot more sense why they fired Jared Mayo 20 minutes after the final game of the season, so that they had ample opportunity to talk to the person that they wanted ultimately.
I mean, I like Mike Vrabel. I just don't like the way that went down. I like Mike Vrabel. I think he's a good coach. Just crap that went down. What do you think about the Browns suing Cleveland for considering the moving to the suburbs and moving into a dome stadium? What do you think about that? Cleveland considering moving into a dome stadium outside of downtown Cleveland.
It sounds like a city, and I'm very familiar with the 216. My goddaughter, shout out to Courtney Royer, just don't understand football economics, man. Like why are we playing outside all the time? We don't have to. But if you guys don't want to put a top on a thing, we're gonna move like 15 miles south.
So if the Seahawks said they're moving to a dome in Everett, you're good with that? Exactly.
No, because it doesn't snow like 3 feet here.
But it's wet and rainy. 11 of those.
Wet and rainy and 46 degrees outside is different than 3 feet of snow and 12 degrees. And you want 75,000 people to come in and pay upwards of $1,000 for some seats. Like, no, man. Let me ask you a question, Cameron. What would possess you to pay $1,000 and sit outside in the cold and the snow for 3 hours?
If you're a fan of your team, that's what you fans do.
No. So just being a fan of your team, that's all it takes?
I mean, that's what your fans do.
No,
so you go tailgating. It's a whole Sunday afternoon. You've been
okay.
You've been to Cleveland. You've been to a Cleveland game.
So you're down?
I didn't say I was.
8 games. You gonna go outside in the snow and 14 degrees and hang out?
Not me personally.
Adverse. No,
not me.
The question specifically. Adverse. Wow. We'll put a top on this thing 15 miles south. And you'll never feel any of that.
It'll be 72 inside. Is 72 inside? Don't you lose your home field advantage if you go to a 72 inside the stadium?
No,
you don't lose.
If your team is really so, your home field advantage is like we know how to play in 14-degree weather and you don't.
Yeah, we're used to playing in 14-degree weather. Yes. Do you think it's going to be an advantage? So when Baltimore goes to Buffalo this weekend, is that going to be an advantage?
It's funny that you say that because for my fantasy football,
well, here we go.
For my fantasy football article, it was in 4 parts. I just watched Game of Thrones, the 3rd season in its entirety. And let me tell you.
What does that have to do with fantasy football?
I'm getting there, Cameron. Let me tell you, being up there in the north, No. You saw the dude almost lost his limbs rooting for the Bills last week?
Yeah.
A year ago, people were dying in their backyards at Kansas City games, man. Like, goddamn.
So you want to take
yours.
So you want to take
because the weather is so adverse outside that you will die.
So you will give Tua a chance, and Tua against KC, and they don't have to play in the 17-degree weather. You can put it 72, and then you give Tua a chance to do something special.
In Cleveland, is that because that's what we're talking about? Yeah.
You take away the home field advantage, man. We talked about this once before. We talked about this with the Chicago Bears.
Only your team can play in adverse conditions where you
it's when
break
the Dan Fouts San Diego
your arm because you've been standing outside with shirt off for 3 hours.
It's when Dan Fouts take his San Diego Chargers into Cincinnati and is 15 below in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati just have to show up and mop them up off the field.
My dude, we're both Eric Dickerson fans. I've never seen him more miserable than sitting on the
when they go play the Bears.
Chicago.
Yeah. That's a whole field advantage. That's not a whole field advantage.
However, so were all of the other 70,000 people sitting in the stands. It's 2025. We just don't do that anymore, man.
I mean, the fans I'm sure they had a little bit of jet fuel in their system as well. They just weren't sitting there drinking iced chocolates or iced coffees.
No, man. Bring them inside. Bring them indoors. It's hella cold outside. It's so cold that if it wasn't for the football game, you wouldn't be outside.
That's right. However, it is an NFL playoff game.
So all 70,000 of you come outside because that other team doesn't know what it's like to be cold like this.
Do you? So I might be with you. I might be tempted to agree with you, Cleveland. If 15,000 people showed up to Buffalo Stadium this week,
bro, I promise you.
And 15,000, if they had 20,000 empty seats and half of their stadium did not show up, I might be tempted to agree with you. But we all know what's going to happen. What's happening?
You know why that won't happen, Cameron?
Because the team's in the playoffs.
No.
Because it's a playoff football.
No. Because they're in Buffalo, New York. And what else is there to do in Buffalo, New York? Buffalo Bills are far and away. The Buffalo Bills are far and away the biggest thing that's ever happened to Buffalo, New York.
So, is the dog pound? Are they going to find something else to do? They're not going to watch the dog. They're not going to watch their Cleveland Browns play. Is that what you're telling me?
Well,
the Kansas City Chiefs, are they going to find something else to do in Kansas City?
It's weird that Cleveland people feel this way, but yeah, man, if you guys just want to be outside, then okay.
I mean, you're
for trying to bring you indoors when it's 14 degrees outside. I mean, all right, well, just stay out there then.
Cleveland say stay out there then. Nah, that's the home field advantage. Clearly, they feel the same way I do, Cleveland, and you're wrong about this. But I mean, what
it is the stadium moving 15 miles.
Well, there's some of that too. There's some of that too. Why is Deontay Johnson? Why did he get waived by the Texans?
Because he's not a professional.
Is that what happened?
It's clear. This is the third team this season.
4 team in 2 seasons? Come on.
Yeah, he's not a professional.
He caught 2 passes last week. I didn't see him whining on the sideline. So what do you think about the Eagles? Brown reading a book on the sideline. Is that professional?
No.
So he pulled out the book, and he had his highlighter and was circling it and stuff, and he wasn't interested in looking at the plays on the Microsoft. What is it? The Microsoft tablet. He was reading his book, a little self-help book. What kind of message did that send to the team?
That he's a weirdo and you can't trust him.
Did the Packers lose? Did the Packers lose that game, or did the Eagles win that game?
Eagles won that game.
When you look at this, we both had the Chargers beating the Texans. What surprised you most of the game? Was it that the Texans defense overpowered that Chargers offensive line?
Justin Herbert's inability to lead his team to a victory.
None of that goes on coaching, right? It's all Justin Herbert.
Oh wow! Now we're back to the coaching. Oh wow! Cam, hit me again with your stance on coaching.
I'm just asking a question. I'm just posing the question here.
I'm asking you a question.
I mean, it was some questionable offensive play calling, but they were hamstrung. Justin Herbert was hamstrung because he has absolutely zero receivers to throw to.
CJ Stroud was without Tank Dell or Stephon Diggs and had not played well for 7 games in a row. How in the hell did they win that game? And by 20 points.
They wanted it more. That's clearly what happened.
Man, quit.
I mean, he had Mixon. Mixon is clearly. I was wrong about Mixon.
Quit. Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert have looked themselves in the mirror and asked themselves what happened, and what they're going to come up with is we're both inferior.
What they're going to come up with is we need Higgins. They're going to sign Higgins and put Higgins in the Chargers uniform next year. And I bet you won't say the same thing that Justin Herbert sucks. You won't be saying that.
Certainly will.
You won't be saying that when Higgins is catching his passes.
He's a quacker.
When Higgins has 18 touchdowns and catches for 50 yards.
His entire career.
He has the most passing yards, and I think the most touchdowns. Hey, you the one who came up with four interceptions, more interceptions in one game than he had all season.
Because the only stat that you need to know is that he's never won a playoff game.
Oh, is that
CJ Stroud's won 2. Trevor Lawrence has won 1. Jaden Daniels has even won a playoff game.
Ooh, let's talk about Jaden Daniels, who you thought was going to be you didn't think they'd make the playoff for sure, and you thought he was going to be a bum, and you thought he would be a bust. Now you singing the praises of Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, I was wrong about him. I was wrong about Justin Herbert. I was listening to you two. He sucks. It's a quack.
Oh, I mean, that's more hate than anything. Jaden Daniels, did he surprise you against the Bucks?
Yeah.
Cleveland 5 winning touchdowns, 5 game go-ahead touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Cleveland, nobody is dead. That's unheard of. 5 of them. That's literally unheard of. No quarterback. Can you mention?
I was in DC when he did the thing against the Bears. It was crazy, and he's done some things ever since. Like again, still kind of crazy. Like the game against the Cowboys, crazy. But wow, he outshined Baker, who had been doing some things up until then.
I mean, Baker bought out. You really can't say they coughed it up.
They coughed it up with that muffed handoff to
the handoff. I mean, but that was early in the fourth quarter. That wasn't like the last. You know what I'm saying? They had time to rebuild after that mistake. That was a mistake. Yes, I grant it to you. But that was early in the fourth quarter. They had time to rebound. In fact, they did rebound from that. But Daniels is just that good. He's like, bro, 5 game-winning touchdowns in the season. Like that is literally unheard of. Nobody has done that ever. And this rookie has done that 5 times.
And Justin Herbert certainly has not done anything even remotely like that.
You loved that game, didn't you? You loved it. Except
I didn't.
Except you picked the tag.
It cost me quite a bit of money. It cost me quite a bit of money, so I'm actually not pleased about the results of that game.
Oh, no wonder we keep hearing about it. No wonder we keep hearing about it.
Yeah, but
so tell us what happened to your Steelers though. Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, how they just get trounced.
They played well. They played well.
They played well.
They fought back. It was 28-14. They fought back well. They did what they could. Hey man, some tough decisions need to be made at quarterback. I'm not sure Russell Wilson, although that middle of the season he played well, but not quite sure he's the answer long term going forward.
So you go with Justin Fields next year, starting training camp?
No, it is something completely totally different.
So you for a 3rd season in a row, you're going to have a brand new starting quarterback.
Yes.
Is that sustaining football?
Hopefully, at some point, you find one that kind of sticks.
Wow.
I mean, you could be the Cleveland Browns and have Deshaun Watson for 3 years, and then he tears his Achilles tendon, and then tears it again, and then it's like, wow, really? When's the next time you're going to see the field and what we look like Aaron Rodgers with like a torn Achilles, but you torn yours twice? Yeah.
Does Lamar Jackson still deserving of the league's MVP after you saw what Derrick Henry did? After you saw Derrick Henry run for 186 yards,
I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Why are you on the Derrick Henry bandwagon?
What do you mean? Why am I on the? I'm just saying. After
because the way you talked about Derrick Henry coming into this season. Remember what you said about him?
Remind the fans what I said about him, Cleveland. And I fully admit it. If you don't have the terminology, I don't.
He was old and crusty and dirty, and he used the euphemism that I often say is that football players age in dog years, and he had nothing left in him, and he was just kind of there like Sherman Smith.
Hold on. No, ain't not Sherman Smith. Sherman Smith was solid. Sherman
Smith in his 7th season and not really be productive. All he did was rush for 1,900 yards.
1,900 and like
281 yards. Yeah.
No, he was averaging 5.9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Like 4.0 yards a carry is good. He averaged almost 6 yards a carry. Like for the whole season. That's ridiculous. I mean, why you punch Minka Fitzpatrick in the jaw? Like, why do you do that? Is like the soccer Minka
Bama crime. It was rough. Yeah, that was tough.
I mean,
and Minka coming. Congratulations, Minka, because you really do establish the culture. All pro Minka Fitzpatrick at that.
That's what Derrick Henry is a single reason I cannot give Lamar Jackson the MVP. Like
we had this conversation last week. Too much talent on his team for him to be talented enough to win it. It has to be a player with less talent that does more. Which is
it doesn't have to be, but that's the way it is. I mean, that's the way it is. It doesn't have to be that way.
Weird.
The Packers lose to the Eagles. Jordan Love. I mean, I expected Jordan Love to have a better season. I expected them. I mean, this game went about how their season went. They had opportunities, they just didn't capitalize on their opportunities.
How did Jacobs do?
Oh, he did. I thought Jacobs did well.
Okay.
I thought Jacobs did well. I mean, he rushed for close to 100 yards. But in the second half, he was rendered useless because they were down by more than 2 touchdowns.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, cool.
I mean, I expected more from Jordan Love, and he wasn't able to give it to him.
How you have no love for them Alabama running backs, but at the same time, you got so much love for them Alabama running backs. It's like a love-hate relationship. What's going on here?
No, what are you talking about? I had no love for it. I've been telling you.
On the one end, you were telling me that Derrick Henry was nothing, wasn't going to be nothing.
No. Okay. So if you're gonna quote me, get it right. I said Derrick Henry would be
truth, and he's not the truth. I mean, you're just all over the place with him Alabama running backs.
No, Josh Jacobs is the truth. He's just he's on a passing team, and so you're not going to see the best of him. Derrick Henry, I didn't expect Derrick Henry to do this at all. I didn't expect it to do this at all. I thought what I said, if you want to quote me and you want the fans to understand what I said is Derrick Henry is going to be an overpriced gold short yardage running back. That's what I said going into the season. But he has proved that he's not done yet. He's not ready for the Ezekiel Elliott treatment just yet. He still got miles to go. Okay. But that's what I expected from him. I expect him to be a overhyped, overpriced, short yardage back. But a short yardage back that could still make defenses kind of leery when Lamar Jackson fakes a handoff, and does he pull it or go? And so yes, he still has that threat.
Like a decoy.
He still has that threat. He still has he's
a 1,900-yard decoy. Okay.
I'm not sure you expected 1,900 yards either. 5.4 yards a clip.
A 1,900-yard decoy.
And you guys want to say Lamar Jackson
horribly wrong. Horribly wrong.
Yeah, it went different. It went different. The Commanders, we talked a little bit about the Commanders and the Bucks. They were more ready. Jaden Daniels is amazing. So the one thing you can say, if you want to go and continue to throw dirt on Justin Herbert and try to bury him, the one thing you can say is, as I'm saying, that Justin Herbert is playing with Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnson, who they took for some reason they took Quentin Johnson and Johnson ahead of Zay Flowers. I don't know why you would do that. That was embarrassing. That speaks to the how they didn't give him not give him any help is the wrong terminology, but they just didn't draft well for Justin to help him out. Because Zay Flowers was one guy that they took ahead of him. I'm gonna read you that wide receiver list of last year and let you tell me. Zay Flowers at 22. They took Quentin Johnson at 21. Zay Flowers was 22. Jordan Addison was 23. Jaden Reed, who played for the Chiefs or played for the Packers, I believe, got hurt. Rashid Rice, number 55. Tank Dale was 69. Josh Downs was 79. That's just a few of the receivers that they passed over for Quentin Johnson, who Cleveland, he probably know better than you right now. At this point in the season, at this point in his career, probably know better than you. So they got to address that wide receiver position. But if you want to say, you can look at the Commanders' offense and say, who is Jay Daniels throwing to? I mean, he has Terry McLaurin, and he has Zach Ertz, a tight end. Who else does he have to throw to? Crowder is not, Lad McConkey is better than Crowder. Jay Daniels is being incredible with these no-name guys and unassuming. He's been He's making these guys perform. That's one thing you can if you was intelligent enough to not say Justin Herbert stinks. The argument for you is, and I'm gonna help you out, and I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot more of this throughout the summer. The argument is, who has Justin Herbert made better? That would be the argument. If you actually want to have an argument about Justin Herbert not living up to his potential, because you see Jaden Daniels is living up to the potentials and making receivers better. That would be the argument. Do you agree with that statement?
Hey, Cameron, I don't know what type of editing material or resources you have over there where you're at currently, but you need to splice out that last 5 minutes soliloquy. Because Jaden Daniels is a rookie from LSU. Justin Herbert is statistically the greatest quarterback in the last 5 years, yards, touchdowns to interception ratio, 40-3 this season, has never won a playoff game. He sucks. He's a quacker.
Fans, we're gonna hear about this boy. What school did you go to? Which school did you claim to go to?
Fans, let me step up. Until Justin Herbert wins a playoff game, all that guff and nonsense that Cameron is talking about means nothing. Lost to Trevor Lawrence. He's been talking about Trevor Lawrence all year. Lost to C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's second win in the playoffs. They're playing 4 years less than Justin Herbert.
It's hard to argue. It's hard. I can't argue that. I'm not even gonna try to argue that.
And then he tries to come up with the receivers, that were taken after the Chargers picked. Like, Jordan Addison and all these other players that were picked after Quentin Johnson. So now you blame the general manager for Justin Herbert's inability?
Absolutely. Bad drafting.
What about that coaching, Cameron? I know how big you are on coaching.
There was some questionable play calling. But if you want to talk about the coaching,
put it on Harbaugh. Why don't you put it on Harbaugh? You still big on coaching?
I'm not putting it on Harbaugh. I said offensive play calling.
So you're not going to put it on Harbaugh. You're putting it all on just the GM's inability to draft top-notch receivers?
That makes a difference, Cleveland. If you haven't noticed, that does make it.
I thought coaching made all the difference in the world, Cameron.
Oh boy!
I thought it was scheme.
He loves it. He loves this. He loves this.
I thought it was scheme.
The scheme doesn't.
Put your players in the right position to make big plays.
The Chargers were above. They were ahead of schedule.
Man, you're always looking at the Chargers. You might want to skip over to another team, man. You and the Chargers just don't do well.
Eric had them going to the Super Bowl. Eric, if you remember,
he hasn't won the championship, not Super Bowl. Championship.
Oh, the championship game.
He did.
I mean, we gonna have to make Eric. I hope you attack Eric like you attacking me. I hope you attack Eric like you attacking me when we get him back on the show.
Oh no, I will call Herbert a quacker in front of Eric Williams. Yeah, for sure, he's a quacker.
We'll see. The Vikings. We talked about their destruction at the Rams. Did the Rams look like the same team?
What do you mean?
From earlier in the season, they finished the season 10-7. Sean McVay took a week off and really had those guys ready for the Vikings. Obviously, he looked at the.
He looks way better than week 8, week 9. Yeah, like the last 6 weeks. Yeah, they're way better.
Yeah, they've been killing.
But your guy Sam Darnold, you want to talk to me death about that too? Or?
Well, no. O'Connell got kind of overcoached.
Coaching.
O'Connell got overcoached there.
Because O'Connell coached him up.
No, well, no.
O'Connell
got
all those other places Sam Darnold done been, he just didn't have good coaching. But O'Connell was able to coach him up.
O'Connell got out coached against Sean McVay.
Oh wow.
That goes without saying.
Ooh.
Just like Cleveland got out picked by me this season. I try to make it easy on Cleveland last week. I tried to give him some grace, and he said, "Oh no, don't we go through the whole season, the playoffs? Let's not talk about the regular season if we don't include the playoffs."
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna include the playoffs.
Okay.
So we're gonna include the playoffs. And what is this number here? This is still 73% is way better than 65%.
I can't see the numbers, Cameron. If you get scroll up a tad bit.
So here, look at our picks from last week. We both had the Chargers. We both had Baltimore. Both had Buffalo, Philadelphia. I had Washington. He had Tampa Bay, and I had Minnesota. He had the Rams. So we finished the season, or we finished last week 4-4. Our picks against the spread. He had 2 right. I had 1 right. But if you look at that number, click on that.
You have to scroll it up because the fans can't see. Okay.
If you look at that number, fans, that number is pretty close to identical.
I haven't had a chance to do my forensic accounting. I don't know if that number is really truly accurate.
You could draw the spreadsheet. What are you talking about? You haven't had a chance to do that. You can draw the spreadsheet.
That exercise just yet, but okay.
And then for the picks, that's pretty apparent. And we go down here again. I tried to give Cleveland some grace last week on the pick segment, but he refused to do it. He refused to take it. Kudos to him.
And fans, look what I did. I went big on that Justin Herbert, and Cam went kind of lukewarm on that Justin Herbert. And see, that's really the difference between why he's 1 point ahead of me in the confidence picks. Because I was listening to him too much and didn't really realize.
You don't have a mind of your own?
I really recollected on things and really realized that he's just a quacker and ain't won a playoff game in 6 years as an NFL professional quarterback.
So you didn't know that? You didn't know that before?
Making $250 million and thought he could go to Houston and win a game and lost by 20 points and threw 4 interceptions. 1 more than he threw the entire season.
So when the ball bounces off the tight end's hands and goes right to the cornerback.
Cameron, if you don't stop making excuses for that, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man.
I'm asking a question. I'm asking how should
Cameron,
that be ranked in the scorebook?
Put a ball to the dude.
He threw it. He put it right in his hands.
Stop throwing on them interceptions in a playoff game. How you win a playoff game? You get 4 interceptions on the road.
He put it right in the tight end's hands.
He sucks.
The tight end pitched it to the
that quacker
cornerback.
Sucks.
Fans, well, I mean, you can see our picks where Cleveland is number 2 now. Versus I went 12 last week.
By 1 point, but wait till next week. And I might even have a game that I'm gonna change. I'm thinking about it. I ain't done it just yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Well, you might want to think about it. Why don't you tell the fans what game are you looking to change? Because right now, are you changing? You got C.J. Stroud going into Kansas City winning that game.
Nope, not that one.
Yeah. The Commanders, you're not picking now Jaden Daniels to go into Detroit and win that game, are you? You can't be thinking about that one. I see you put the Rams and the Eagles. What? You got the Rams traveling across country? Is that East-West playing a late game on Sunday? Is that their body's not right? Is that how you got that? Or are you just a Sean McVay fan all of a sudden? Which one is it?
So which one of those games do you think I am thinking about switching?
It has to be the Commanders and Lions or the Eagles, or you're pretty confident. I think you picking the Rams is a divisional thing. So I think you'll stick with that one. Is it the Commanders and the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff? Because you can't be going, and it can't be the other game. Are you jumping off Jordan? Are you jumping off Jared Goff bandwagon? Is that what we're doing?
I'm gonna keep an eye on that one. I will make my decision by Friday.
Oh, look at him. Oh, you leading to the rookie.
Yeah.
The rookie's been exciting you, huh? The rookie's been exciting him. Okay, I got you. I feel you.
Got my eye on that one.
That would make sense. But I would like an explanation. You know, we've been doing the show for many years, and certainly we've been doing the show all of the season, which was what, week 20 right now. So, and you didn't want to give. I tried to talk to you about the MVP, and I tried to tell you that Josh Allen is the MVP. I tried to tell you that Josh Allen does more with less. I tried to tell you that give you reasons, as I did earlier in the show, that reasons why Lamar Jackson is not the MVP, because he has a running back averaging 5.9 yards a carry. The fans would like to know, excuse me, the fans would like to know, how are you jumping on Josh Allen's bandwagon right now and picking them to beat the Baltimore Ravens?
Cam, I saw softer throws last weekend. More touch, more, guiding the ball. It wasn't just John Elway fastballs every throw.
So you didn't see him roll. You didn't see him rolling out in weeks past when he rolled out on the Chiefs in week 15 and rumbled for 26 yards in the game with a touchdown.
Josh always has a propensity to turn back to Josh Allen and just throw the ball around. Just throw it really hard in that general vicinity.
Josh Allen has thrown to more receivers this season than.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Like Reggie Miller says, are you asking me the question, or are you going to answer for me too?
Reggie got me on that one. He got me on that one. I'm like, okay, Reggie, it's on you.
Okay, so as I was saying, I saw from Josh Allen was a little bit more touch, a little bit more anticipation, some things I had not seen from him. I had always seen the strong arm. If you're open and you break open and I can give you enough time, I can dance around. Yeah, I can hit you. But just running the offense and just like, ooh, I'm going to throw this ball like 45 degrees, a little bit different. I'm going to take like 16 miles an hour off this fastball and like drop it in your hands. So rarely do you see that from Josh Allen. And usually he's going to give you something like, wow, Josh, why were you throwing the ball over there? There was nobody over there. I didn't see any of that last week. So I'm going to ride with it. Looks like he's learned from his mistakes, and here comes Lamar and Derrick Henry.
Is that the long way to say MVP of the season?
No.
Oh, that race is still ongoing in your opinion, or is it over?
I think Lamar Jackson had a better season.
Even though Lamar Jackson had an 18 a running back that averaged 5.9.
Well, Lamar Jackson joined a category in a class no one's ever been in before.
Yeah, that QBR. I mean, how?
No, it's 4,800. No one's ever done that.
Yeah. Do you think some of that was because of the guy?
Again, you always want to give credit to other people for something that somebody's doing.
I'm just saying. Do you think that helped?
Those guys that back in the day, it's like, oh man, if Barry Sanders ran behind the Cowboys line, he'd have more yards than him. But guess what? He doesn't run behind the Cowboys line.
So fans, let's take a look at our picks from last week there, and here once again, this is from this weekend. I'm sorry, I got Kansas City, Philadelphia, and Baltimore.
Why do you don't have any? Oh, you have no spreads there. Okay, sorry.
What's that? Well, those are my picks. Those are my picks. Do I need my picks against the spread?
But you don't have the spread. That's what I was saying.
Just
empty.
Well, Kansas City, the spreads are up there. We see Kansas City is
they're up there. They're just not there on the thing. That's fine.
Yeah, Philadelphia still has they're still favorite. Six is a lot, but I'll take Philly in the 6. And then I got Baltimore 6.5. I take Philly in the 6.5. And I got Baltimore straight up. Like, I believe it's going to be a closer game, but 1 point, minus 1 point. I believe it's going to be closer than the 35-10 that we saw earlier in the season. Buffalo could win that game. He could. If Josh Allen comes in with his head right, he'll be able to take advantage of the Ravens defense. However, I think with you got Derrick Henry to play ball control offense. Why not use Derrick Henry to play ball control offense? So I think that's what we're going to see.
Conventional wisdom. We'll see how that works out, Cameron.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the guy, Derrick Henry is an absolute monster. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's an absolute monster. I got.
You know what I like? A lot about this is that we differ on the Philly Rams thing. And we actually differ on the Buffalo Baltimore. That's the only point. But the Ram Philadelphia thing, it will come down to simply this. Will you get the Jalen Hurts that's like, oh, you guys don't think I'm pick? You want to play 2 in front of you? I'll just go out here and show you guys.
I mean, that's his career, isn't it? He can't pass. He can't stop thinking about that. That's his career.
Or you're going to get the Jalen Hurts that looks confused all the time and like, yeah. Oh. I like the acknowledgement. You know the Jalen Hurts confused look. Confused look, don't you, Ken? You go that way. I do the ball. You know that confused look. If you get the Jalen Hurts confused look, so sorry. The Rams are running their offense versus Jalen Hurts getting confused.
I mean, but come on now. How much can Puka? Puka just can't keep running over wide receiver or running over DBs every game, can he?
And your best linebacker is not healthy. He's not playing. Dean's not playing, bro.
Yeah. Oh, he was it Achilles? Yeah, he's out for the year.
He's out for the playoffs. He's not playing on Sunday.
I mean, Puka's going to put a lot of stress on those cornerbacks and that secondary. He's going to put a lot of stress.
Oh, so is Cooper Kupp. So is Kyron.
Well, Cooper Kupp, man, caught 2 passes last game. But it was late in the third quarter. I'm wondering, has they even targeted him?
If he catches 4 passes, then imagine how much it opens up the offense.
Yeah, but I don't think that's you can't count on that.
Did you see those passes that Jalen Hurts was throwing?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. That's going to be interesting.
You suddenly don't feel as confident about your Philadelphia pick, huh?
I'm very confident. I'm very confident about it. The Rams. I mean, they can't just keep using Puka to browbeat the whole team, can they? I mean, Puka is an amazing specimen, isn't he? Every game, I'm wondering, like, he can't keep running over the defenders. Cooper is not breaking the tackles. I mean, if Cooper was doing what he was doing 2 years ago, breaking tackles, still breaking tackles, and continue to catch everything thrown his way, it'd be a different story. But he's not that same guy. And I don't think Puka, how long could this go on? Like, they see film, hit Puka's ass and get him on the ground. But Puka will spin off you, hurdle you, knee you in the chest. He will use every part of his body to get out of that tackle and get more yards. At one point, that's got to come to an end. He can't.
So it's on Sunday against the Eagles.
and Sunday against the Eagles. That offensive line versus the Eagles defensive line. N'Kobe Dean might not be playing, but they still got Jalen Carter to wreak havoc.
They do.
That's
I don't like that.
The advantage is.
I don't like that Jalen Carter at all.
Yeah, that's where I think that their advantage is allow him to just continue to rush the quarterback. And you see, although that was that a pass or was that a flea? Was that a little flick of the wrist that Stafford got away with because on that fumble return by the
Oh man, who cares about that, man? We're just gonna go into Philadelphia and see what happens, man.
Well,
it's who is Jalen Hurts you get? Do you get the confident like everybody doubted me, nobody likes me, or
you get the Jalen Hurts to hand off to Saquon Barkley and to pick up 50 yards on the ground?
They didn't really do that much last game.
Yeah, they did not. They did not. I need to see more Barkley. I need to see more Barkley catching it out the backfield. Ease your guy into the game, and then ease him in the game where he can hit some crossing routes with Devontae Smith, and then go deep to AJ Brown. Ease him in the football game.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What did you say about McVay and his coaching? What did you say earlier?
McVay and his coaching, or
no,
McVay's a great coach. You don't think? Oh, you think McVay already knows his game plan is coming?
Okay, and what did you say about Sirianni and his coaching? Because you're big on coaching. I'm big on talent, but you're big on coaching. Which one's the better coach here?
McVay's clearly the better coach.
Oh, okay. Well, then, man, better coach and more talent. Ooh.
They have more talent than the Eagles?
I mean,
Puka's not better. I love Puka. Is he better than Devontae Smith and AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Yes.
For this game, he will be.
Ooh, for this game, I mean, this is a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast.
They are, but with West Coast mentality, though.
Well, I don't know. That's gonna be a good game. We got a good weekend of football, man. We got a good weekend of football coming up this weekend. The best being the best game being those Bills against the Ravens.
That's the best game. Yeah.
Huh?
Ravens Bills best game without question.
Saturday we get to Patrick Mahomes dust off. Go ahead and dust off the Houston Texans. Your Houston Texans, by the way. And then in the evening, in the nightcap, we got the Lions versus the Commanders. That's going to be a good game too.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a good game too. Now, I mean, this might be the best weekend of football right here, where you get you got 4 borderline great games, each of them competing for a chance at the championship, conference championship, and go to the Super Bowl. Then we got the Rams and the Eagles, which is be an outstanding game. And then we close it out with that Bills and Ravens game. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That's a can't miss must-see TV game, man. And you guys see our picks right here. I got Baltimore winning that game, going on the road. I got Philly inviting the Rams in. And we're going to see a whole lot of Saquon. Saquon might have to he can't go down when he has an opening in the last minute of the game. He can't take a knee. He's going to have to rush that take that to the house. So, and the Rams, they are going to be a little salty because Saquon did put up 300 yard from scrimmage on them last time they played. Like he had 255 plus another 50 receiving. We're not going to see that same game, but they need to feed Saquon in this game. The Detroit Lions and the Commanders, that 10 point. I should have took the Detroit, or excuse me, I should have took the Commanders +9. That should be +9 too. By the way, that's actually a good pick. The Commanders I don't think they're going to lose by 10 points, but that's going to be a good game. I think Detroit will handily beat them. I just don't know if 10 points is going to be the deciding factor. And then we get to see Patrick Mahomes on his first game since having a second baby girl come back and have something to prove. This is going to be a very, very, very good weekend, fans. Get your popcorn ready, as your boy used to say. Here's our confidence picks. You see, I got KC, Philly, Detroit, and Baltimore. Who you got? KC, Detroit, the Rams, and Buffalo. I mean, you get a couple of these games shake out the right way. You get Detroit to win that game. You get Baltimore to win that game, or Buffalo to win the game.
But again, give me a couple of days to decide if how much I have confidence in Jaren.
Well, the fans are going to be eager to see what you have to say about that, because that's going to be well worth watching there. Well worth watching. Cleveland. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 9-1 in their last 10 games. 34-5.
On fire.
34-5. Cleveland. Are you ready to give the Cleveland Cavaliers, the team with the best record in the NBA, are you ready to sing their praises, give them any credit yet? They're 9-1 in the last 10 games, Cleveland. They beat Indiana. They avenged the loss that they had to Indiana a couple of weeks ago. They beat Oklahoma City already. They beat Dallas just in this month. We're only 15 days in the month. No, you're not ready to give them and sing their praises yet? The Oklahoma City Thunder, Cleveland, 9-1 in their last 10 games. 33-6 with the league's MVP. Are you ready to share some love on the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Praise. They're really, really good. They have a legitimate chance to get to the NBA Finals. I just think that they will lose in the Western Conference Finals.
To who?
Well, we'll see who's there. Depends on the health of Jamal Murray.
Speaking of Jamal Murray scored a season high 42 points to get the Mavericks the other night. Is that the health you've been looking to see?
Well, I mean, you tell me, Cameron, if Jamal Murray's scoring 42 next to Nikola Jokic, I mean, that's pretty much a done deal, yeah?
So you got them coming out the West. You don't think Oklahoma City can beat Denver?
If Jamal Murray is healthy, no, I don't.
Is Jamal Murray than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
What's that?
Is Jamal Murray better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. So why do you think he can kind of turn it on and cook those guys?
Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't play with Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray does. And for what the Joker does, if Jamal Murray's on his game, he just makes him that much better.
Trae Young go for a season high 43 points against the Suns. Are you ready to say Atlanta should be a force to be concerned with in the playoffs?
Nope.
Fair enough. Jaden Green scored a season high 42 in a win over the Grizzlies. Are you ready to say finally that the Houston Rockets are a force to be concerned with?
Well, if they trade for Kevin Durant, like all the speculation has come to, then for sure they have Kevin Durant on their team. But as they are currently put together now.
So coaching and their Ime Udoka isn't good enough to get these guys through the hump. The hump.
Cameron, hey, when we talk about coaching, we're talking about football and baseball. We're not talking about hoop. You already know how I feel about coaching in the NBA.
There's a lot of talent there in Jaden Green. With Jabari Smith.
Yeah, but Cameron coaching. Yeah, coaching is not what wins championships in the National Basketball Association. It's helpful. It's not the integral part, though.
You also have some coaching to separate the as a separation, don't you?
No, the talent separates the teams.
And Houston has a world of talent, don't they?
No. They don't have a world of talent. They have a lot of young players that are kind of starting to find themselves, and it's kind of cool because their coach likes them and pushes them really hard, and they get the most out of themselves. But yeah, it's not a talent differential by any means.
Anthony Edwards fined $50,000 for his obscene gesture against the refs. Fair or foul?
Fair.
Chris Middleton no longer starting for the Bucks. Fair or foul?
Fair.
Do the Warriors owe Steph? Do the Warriors owe it to Steph to get him some help and compete for another championship?
No.
So the Warriors shouldn't break the bank to trade for LeBron?
No, LeBron has a no trade clause. It's not already said he didn't want to go there. So
LeBron, the Lakers genie decided to retire Michael Cooper's jersey just to give the Lakers something to cheer about this season. Do you see it that way? Good move by Genie?
I don't really know if Michael Cooper's number deserves to be retired.
Wait. Are you saying this is a Fugazi jersey retirement like Pau Gasol hanging next to Shaq and Kobe? Or are they gonna put Michael Cooper and Pau Gasol over on the same side and let them start a new section over there? Is that how that's gonna go?
I didn't say all that.
he said Powell and Michael Cooper gonna be in their own section of the arena until maybe Anthony Davis gets his jersey retired, or maybe Snitchy. Are you gonna retire Snitchy's jersey number? Snitchy got a championship. He was there in 2020. You gonna retire Snitchy's jersey?
What I'm saying is, when you look through the pantheon of numbers that have been retired by the Los Angeles Lakers, so many numbers that the Los Angeles Clippers refused to play games when they couldn't black out all of the numbers because it was so many. And
You're talking about the Lakers. I'm not sure what the Clippers had to do with this conversation.
It's just blinded and
the Clippers have their own stadium. I don't know what you're talking about.
Motivation away from
the Clippers. Have you heard of the Intuit Dome?
Players like Shaq and Kobe and Wilt and Elgin and Jerry West and Kareem and Worthy and Magic
and Michael Cooper. Say his name. And Michael Cooper.
Not quite sure the name that you mentioned before kind of fits with that. So, yeah. I like Michael Cooper. I really do. Hell of a defensive player.
But
hell of a defensive player.
He got 5 rings. He got 5 rings too now, just like Magic. He got 5 rings, just like Magic.
And he might even have one coach in the LA Spurs, for all I know. I can't remember.
I think he might have 2 now. Don't shortchange Cooper.
He might even have 2 of them. But in the rafters,
he right there with Powell. Him and Powell got their own section. A big question mark right above both of their numbers. A big question mark right above them. So
I know I'm hard on people, but you know, Michael.
I mean, so who's next? Who's next? Is AC Green get one before a retired number before the 45 get to go up there before Big Shot Bob's number 7? Who's next? Which one of those get the retired jersey next? AC Green or Big Shot Bob?
If it was up to me, neither one of them would get their numbers retired. I mean.
What? Oh, there's no appreciation for what Big Shot Bob was able to do for you guys?
I am not okay. I almost went there, but I'm not going to. You have to have an extensive body of work, number one, to get your number retired. Number two, you have to play for a franchise that warrants you doing something so extraordinary that no one else has ever done for your franchise. Imagine how hard that is to do for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Big Shot Bob is not deserving. You saying Big Shot Bob does not get a jersey retirement? What? If it wasn't for Big Shot Bob, do you guys beat the Sacramento Kings?
Are you talking about that one time? That one game? I mean, it's the Los Angeles Lakers, man. The logo of the NBA.
So Big Shot Bob, he got his name Big Shot off of one jumper.
Bro, see, I'm not going to even walk down this. I was starting.
Help me out. The fans are eager to know. Are you saying Big Shot Bob got his name off his hitting one single jumper?
I was starting to get mad, and then I realized you were baiting me, and then I rolled it back. I would say a few names out here of players that have statues and numbers retired for the Los Angeles Lakers. One of them is the logo of the National Basketball Association. One of them is the top 3 most dominant centers to ever play basketball. One of them is the highest scoring center with the most unstoppable shot in the history of basketball. One of them is the only 6'9" point guard to ever play basketball. You're saying it's the second greatest shooting guard to ever play basketball.
So you're saying a guy that's won 7 championships and a guy that's single-handedly responsible for Kobe and Shaq getting their second ring, Big Shot Bob, is undeserving to have his number retired.
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing?
12 and 5 and 5 doesn't get it done. No.
Okay, you have to add context. Are you statting me to death? You have to have context.
No. What I was saying is there's nothing about.
Okay. Does Derek Fisher or Big Shot Bob get a jersey retired first? Which one?
Derek Fisher.
Oh, so are you guys? You talked to Jeannie about this? Is there a ceremony?
No. He doesn't deserve one either.
What? Derek Fisher doesn't deserve one either?
No.
So let me understand this. So you win 7 rings, you don't deserve
He didn't win 7 rings with the Lakers.
Well, he won what, 2 or 3 of them?
3
with the Lakers for sure.
He won 3 straight.
And he was a factor. He was a factor in those wins. He wasn't just
He doesn't get to go up in the rafters now.
But Derek Fisher does.
Before Robert,
who's better for the Lakers? Who's the better Los Angeles Laker? Derek Fisher or Big Shot Bob Robert Horry?
Derek Fisher.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it.
And I love Big Shot Bob. You know, like you said, that shot that he hit against Sacramento was
that turned the career. That was a franchise career turning.
Yeah, but Cam, here's my criteria adverse your criteria. You don't get your number retired for making one big shot. Like you don't get your number retired for leading league.
So how many big shots did Derek Fisher make? He hit the .4 against the Spurs. Was that it? What else did he do?
That was pretty big, wasn't it?
What you telling me? Robert Ory's wasn't you don't get a retirement for one making one shot. Tell me how many shots did Derek Fisher make?
I said Derek Fisher didn't deserve to get his number retired as a Laker either.
I gave you the choice.
If he played for the Indiana Pacers, yeah, man, throw that up there. If he played for the Milwaukee Bucks, yeah, man, throw that up there. If he played for the Charlotte Hornets, yeah, man, throw that up there. If he played for the Washington Wizards, yeah, man, throw that up there. If he played for the Sacramento Kings, yeah, throw that up there. Perhaps because you always go to Clippers games and the numbers are all blacked out and you can't see them, perhaps you should see the other numbers.
The Clippers had their own stadium. There's no Laker jerseys hanging in the Clipperville.
I know because they moved
into a dome.
Because they moved away from that stigmatism. But when they were in the same house, it just was, it was mentally taxing on them to see all those numbers. But when you see those numbers, man, and like 10 of them are like in the top 75 all time, and then you start talking about Robert Ory, like, no.
Oh, you're cold. Oh, you're cold. Start talking about Robert Ory.
No, seriously, Cameron. Like 10 of them are like the 75 greatest players that have ever played basketball. Why would you put Robert Ory in that same thing?
Because you got Michael Cooper.
I'm going to do this real quick.
Pau Gasol. And you got Pau Gasol up there.
Fans, I'm going to do this real quick. Okay. Wilt Chamberlain's number is retired. He's one of the 75 greatest. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's number.
We don't need to hear about the legacy.
Okay. Thank you.
We don't need to hear about the legacy, but you do have that who you were going to leave off your list. I know you're going to leave off your list. You're going to leave Pau Gasol off your list. You're going to leave Pau Gasol off your list. You weren't going to mention Pau Gasol.
You cut me off because you knew where this was going.
You were not. I knew you weren't going to mention Pau Gasol. I know that for certain.
Cameron.
I know that for certain. When you start off with Wilt Chamberlain and you go to Jerry West, you weren't going to end with Pau Gasol.
You cut me off because you knew where this was going.
I knew you weren't going to end with Pau Gasol, and you know it too. You
better
cut it out.
I was going to get to 10 of the 75 greatest players that have ever played basketball,
including Pau Gasol and Michael Cooper. And you're telling me now Robert Ory doesn't deserve to be in that company? He belongs in the company of Pau Gasol and Michael Cooper. Certainly. No? Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. We talk way too much about the Lakers. Apparently, there's a much bigger feud going on in the NBA right now. And that's with Jimmy Butler and your guy, Mr. Showtime himself, Pat Riley. Who's going to win this? Is Pat Riley getting like Jerry Jones, where he just doesn't understand the game, where the game is moving by him? Or is Jimmy Butler asking too much of the old garb to just say, let me in, let me do my thing?
Before the current collective bargaining agreement, that was much easier to do. It's not very easy to do nowadays. And yeah, Jimmy Butler is not on that tier where he just demands do what I say or suffer the consequences. So yeah, Pat Riley's been through a few of these. So I think he will win ultimately.
So Jimmy Butler going to end up in Phoenix, Golden State. Does Pat Riley send Jimmy Butler to Sacramento for DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox?
Is that on the table?
No, I mean, does he make something like that happen?
Oh boy, if that's on the table, yeah, you can have Jimmy Butler every day, all day for De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan. Oh boy,
I mean, the Kings can't be happy with what's going on. I mean, they already fired Mike Brown. Shout out to your guy Doug Christie for going like 6-7-1.
Shout out to 206. Rainier Beach's finest, Doug Christie. They won like 8, 7 last 8 games.
Yeah, that okay. So you don't make a move there. You don't make a big move. De'Aaron Fox already said through your guy, Rich Paul, that he's not making a change, or excuse me, that he's not re-signing with the Kings. Do you go ahead and trade him? Get him to South Beach? I'm sure he would like South Beach.
I am pretty sure there's no way Jimmy Butler goes to Sacramento for those 2 players. So that's not even really like much of a conversation to entertain.
Okay, well the contracts have to work, but who do you send? Where do you send Jimmy? Do you send? I mean, Bradley Beal. Does
I'm trying to figure that out. Bradley Beal has a no trade clause in his contract, so it's entirely up to him.
Well, you don't think Bradley Beal would adjust his contract to go to Miami? I mean, I know Scottsdale is nice, especially when you got some money, but
they want $112 million worth of contract money over 2 years left on the contract.
Probably not. But you get rid of Jimmy.
I don't think Bradley Beal's played 40 games in the last 7 seasons.
It's an ugly contract. Yes, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. However, I could be in on IR in Miami versus being on IR in Phoenix, Scottsdale. What would you take?
From the player's perspective, you would take South Beach. What is the benefit to the Miami Heat of doing that, though?
They get rid of Jimmy. They get rid of Jimmy's deal.
Jimmy, but taking on $55 million worth of contract for someone that only plays 40 games, just don't see the benefit there.
Maybe they have to get a third team in charge. Send Jimmy to. I mean, Jimmy's going to have to go to a warm weather team, so maybe they have to get somebody else involved.
Yeah, you look at the old collective bargaining agreement where players could kind of pick their destinations in a different way. You just can't do that anymore.
Bradley Beal, send him back to the East Coast. Send him to Brooklyn. Send him to anybody on Brooklyn or DC you want, where you can kind of Kuzma. Do you want to put Kuzma in South Beach?
Nope.
He's
already in DC. You forgot, right? He already played for the Wizards for quite some time. Bradley Beal.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Put him back on the East Coast. So I'm thinking Brooklyn. Cam Johnson. You want Cam Johnson in
really?
Yeah, these guys might be stuck. We might be looking at a stalemate. This new NBA era, we might be looking at a stalemate, and they run this thing back next season. Is that a possibility?
Quite possible.
Kyra Reynolds achieved a historic quintuple double: 14 rebounds, 14 points, 18 rebounds, 12 assists, 11 steals, and 10 blocks. Should that be getting more recognition?
No.
So you're not giving no credit to women's basketball?
Akeem used to do that all the time, man.
What's that?
I said Akeem used to do that all the time.
I mean, not only all the time. There's only one quintuple double.
Akeem did it like 10 times. Wait, what did you say?
Quintuple. That's a quintuple, not a quadruple double. Which I think only happened one time, but quintuple, that's 5, 14 points, 18 rebounds, 12 assists, 11 steals, and 10 blocks. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay, yeah, that is kind of crazy.
That's crazy balling out there. Yeah, women's hoop, man. She's rough. She's real deal out there. She did it in high school. You know, that's still dope, man. High school pulling down those numbers, bro.
That's dominating the entire game in every facet of the game for sure.
Right. Looking at the next week, we have to pull out our power rankings in the NBA. But do you have any immediate changes right now? Because last time we looked at this, you have the Nuggets, Suns, Wizards, Thunder, and Grizzlies. I mean, you got to put the Thunder up there. You got to put the Grizzlies up higher. The Warriors, you got to take them out of that top 5. Who do you replace in the top 5, the West, with the Warriors?
Oh, I mean, probably the Rockets.
You don't have the Nuggets in the top 5 at all. This was done in November 2024. Celtics, Cavaliers, Magic, and the Knicks and Heat. You had the Celtics, Cavaliers, Knicks, Magic, and Pacers. That's still pretty accurate. Well, do you move the Pacers? Excuse me. Do you move the Cavaliers ahead of the Celtics in the power ranking?
No.
They're 7 games up on them right now. Just because they're the champion, they keep the number 1 spot. The Knicks, you have that number 3. Are you believing in Jalen Brunson yet?
I believe he's a warrior and a soldier, and that he will do whatever it takes to win to the best of his ability.
But he's not
from that perspective, I believe in him. Yes,
but he's not is he not a first team All Pro? Is he second team All Pro?
We'll see.
Oh, you weren't so quick to ignore that. I see.
No, you can put up tremendous stats and quite possibly overwhelm the voters to give him that position.
Overwhelm the voters to give him that position, he says. The New York Knicks, you want to know how many games what their record is? Are you familiar with what they're doing in New York?
They're winning a lot of games, from what you're saying.
Yeah, but he has the ball in his hand, leading them to wins. Do you agree with that or no?
He does great. He distributes the ball well. Karl Anthony Towns has been a great addition. The other Villanova Wildcat as well. So yeah, they do some things, man.
I mean, they're the third in the East right now.
They sure are.
4.5 games ahead of your Milwaukee Bucks, and you're not confident in the Nova Knicks.
Not really, no.
Well, you heard it here, fans. You heard it here. Cleveland has no confidence in the Nova Knicks. But one thing he does have confidence in is in this week in history segment. Fans, we've been giving this to you for several years now. By the way, we just recap some historical moments and some of the things that happened in the past from an African American perspective. Cleveland, January 17, 1986, Lawrence Douglas Wilder becomes the first African American to be elected as governor of a U.S. state. That was Virginia. 1977, the only time in recorded history that snow fell in the Caribbean nation. That was a while ago. Cleveland, something I did not know. January 18, 1981, Grant Fuhr is picked with the first round of the National Hockey League and becomes the first Black professional hockey player. I didn't realize Grant was Black. Did you?
Yes, and he wasn't actually the first NHL hockey. Well, actually, maybe the first NHL hockey player, but not the first Black hockey player.
Okay, who was?
My man, he's like the Jackie Robinson of hockey. O'Ree, I believe his name is.
Who's that?
So now I have to look it up. It's O'Ree.
Okay.
But he's like the Jackie Robinson of hockey.
The 39.6 seconds to go in the game. Golden State Warriors are up on the Minnesota Timberwolves, 111-110. Golden State has the ball coming out. Curry just hit a three to put him up 3, but Milwaukee obviously scored a basket to make it a 1-point game. And Wiggins is throwing out for is throwing it in for the Warriors. Curry is at the free throw line.
Willie O'Ree.
Willie O'Ree, okay. Wiggins hits number 15. Who is this? Who's dribbling around? Almost dribbled off his foot. He got called. DiVincenzo got called for a foul. DiVincenzo was all over this guy, Santos, who almost dribbled it off his foot and it went out of bounds. Here they're doing it again, 36 seconds now. Each team has one timeout. The Warriors are passing it in. Curry is here in the near corner. The ball goes to Buddy Hield. Curry, they foul Curry before he can get a three-pointer off. Interesting. I guess that is the move, right? Down 1 point, 32 seconds, you foul. So they don't get a three-pointer off, and they send Wiggins to the line. Not Curry, but Wiggins goes to the line. I guess that is a move, right?
Yes.
Don't let Steph get a three-pointer off and instead foul. So Wiggins go to the line. Up 1, 32 seconds to go. Wiggins goes to the line, and he shoots, and he makes it. So it's a 2-point game for the Golden State Warriors. 32 seconds to go. The Warriors are up going left to right. The Warriors are up 112-110. Naz Reid checks in the game. Minnesota does have a timeout left, 32 seconds to go. With 32 seconds to go, and assuming he makes it, do you call a timeout? Do you push the ball and get a quick 2 and do this all again? Or do you shoot for a 3? And the shot is good. So now they look like they're going to run a play. So they pass it in. Naz Reid, DiVincenzo brings it up. He just crosses the half-court line, down by 3 points. DiVincenzo passes off to Edwards, who goes to he steps back to shoot a 3, and he misses. And that is just about the game. It's just about the game once he misses it with 16 seconds left. He passed a man and then stepped back and shot a 3. It looked like he could, if he just kept going to the bucket, he could have got an easy 2 points. But instead, he decided to step back and take a 3, and it went off the glass, and the ball bounced off a couple hands before it went out of bounds, and they give the Warriors back the basketball. So with 16.1 seconds left, the Warriors are throwing it in again, and obviously this is a must-foul situation. Goes out of bounds. That's a Minnesota ball. They passed it. Who they passed it into? Buddy Hield, who passed it right back, and dude never came in bounds, so it went out of bounds. So that ball goes right back to the Minnesota Timberwolves with 14 seconds to go in the game. Very interesting call. So who is this? Payton throws it into Hield. Hield is not Hield. Whoever is number 4. He passes it in, and then his momentum was taking him out of bounds. He kicks it right back to Payton, who never came in bounds. So Payton catches the ball. He tried to get 2 feet. Well, he did get 2 feet in bounds, but he never established himself. Moody. That was Moody he passed it to. Payton never established his feet in bounds before Moody passing the ball. So he caught it in the air, but it's not like football. It's not like football. In football, you can catch it and get your 2 feet down. Payton never established himself in bounds because he was out of bounds. And that's how they got it. Sometimes you see stuff you've never seen before. Like it was probably a bad pass to Moody because Moody's forward momentum was carrying him out of bounds. Before he went out of bounds, he kicked it right back to Payton, who passed it to him, but he never got himself in bounds. When he caught it, then he tried to get 2 feet down, but he never established himself in bounds. So that gives the Minnesota Timberwolves another chance. 12 game tie-in. Anthony Edwards, 12 game tie-in or go-ahead field goals in the last 30 seconds of the fourth quarter OT. I doubt that's going to happen. Right now, they still have time to go for 2 and then make this a free throw shooting game. They still have time. It's 14 seconds left. What do you do here? Down 3, 14 seconds left. You have the ball. Do you go for a quick 3?
And Cameron, with your play-by-play, I'm gonna go check on Kobe right quick. I'll be right back, my dude.
Yeah. DiVincenzo makes a free throw, and DiVincenzo makes a free throw, and he fouls Golden State, so it's a 1-point game, 10.4 seconds to go, and the Warriors have a chance now to go to the line and go up 2 points. Gary Payton at the line, 10.4 seconds to go. Down by 2, 10.4 seconds to go. The Warriors are up by 1, 113 to 112. Gary Payton at the line, and he makes his first free throw. So it's a 2-point game, 10 seconds to go. Gary Payton has a chance to make it another 3-point game. And if I'm Minnesota, he misses it. So now here we go. But Golden State gets the ball back, and there's Curry gets fouled before he can get off a 3-point shot. And there's a problem right there. Gary Payton missed a free throw, but the Warriors got the ball back. So Steph Curry now gets fouled, and he's the one going to the line. And that's out of everybody going to the line, that is the one guy you did not want going to the line. So Rudy Gobert, instead of giving the rebound, he kind of tips it out. And then Anthony, or who was that who fouled? I think that was Nas Reed, or McDaniels, who fouls Steph Curry as he got the ball before he can get it up. Steph Curry just hit the first free throw with 6.3 seconds to go. Make this a 3-point game. Steph Curry at the line with 6.3 seconds to go. And he can ice the game, and he does. Makes it a 4-point game, 6.3 seconds to go. Anthony Edwards gets the ball, and then he pulls up for 3, and he makes it. So with 1 second to go, it was 0.9 seconds to go. The Warriors will win this game. It's all over. It's all over now. The Warriors have won this game 116 to 115. Steph Curry. Are they putting time on? It looked like they're trying to put some time back on the clock, which is kind of weird. The clock's read 00. Anthony Edwards makes a 3-pointer with how much time is on the clock when it goes in? It's probably 0.9 seconds when they actually get the ball. They pass it into Curry, the time runs out. The game's over. They put 0.9 on the clock, but they pass it into Curry. The game should be over right now. The game should be over. But they put 1.9 on the clock, so the Warriors or the Minnesota Timberwolves going to have a chance to foul and make it a foul, and then again they do the 3-point shooting again. That game should be over. Edwards made the shot with 0.9 on the clock. The Warriors now they changed it to 1 second on the clock. The Warriors got the ball, threw it in to Curry, 0.9, like the guy was close to him. It took him a second to get to Curry to foul him. This game should be over, but they put 1 second on the clock. They put 1 second on the clock, and I mean, not a lot can happen in 1 second, especially I think Curry's going to the line. He just made 2 free throws to bump their lead to 4 points and not 3. So, for all intents and purposes, this game is over. But they have 1 second on the clock, which is crazy. Which is actually wild. So I don't know if they're trying. It looks like it's a state of confusion in the whole arena. But 1 second on the clock. It's a 1-point game in the fourth quarter. The Warriors are passing it in, so they must have gave the Warriors a timeout. Maybe Kerr, that's what happened. I'm not listening to the game, so maybe Kerr called a timeout and they didn't pass before they were able to pass it in and let that 1 second run off the clock. So 1 second on the clock. Now they do a bunch formation. Steph Curry gets the ball, and then there's an official game whistle. There you go. So just had to break that down. I thought that'd be interesting. How close of a game was it? What's your philosophy? What is your philosophy when you're down by 3? Do you try to foul, Cleveland? Do you try to foul and force it to be a free throw shooting game, or do you take the quick 3 to try to tie it up?
You foul.
Fair enough. Okay, Cleveland. I got a couple of trivia questions here for you. 115, 1990, Don Nelson became the second man in NBA history to appear in 1,000 games as a head coach and a player. Who was the first to achieve this record?
Lenny Wilkins.
Oh, good guess. Good guess. Ding, 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 ding. The first National Football League Super Bowl was played on January 15, 1967. What was the final score of that game?
What was the final score of the first Super Bowl ever played?
I know you know who played in the game. That would have been too easy to say who played in the game. So what was the final score of the game?
20-17.
35-10. 35-10. Obviously, the Packers defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. First NFL coach to take 3 franchises to the playoffs was who?
First NFL coach to take 3 different teams to the playoffs.
You should know this one.
Marty Schottenheimer.
No, I think Marty was a descendant of this guy, though. One more try. You should know this, actually.
Oh, Bill Parcells.
No, Ground Chuck. The first guy to do it.
Gotcha.
Ground Chuck. Check it out. 115, 1997, Seattle Supersonics set an NBA record at the time with 27 steals against the Toronto Raptors. Final trivia question. Victor Wembanyama scores 2,273 points, 1,053 rebounds, 366 blocks in his first 100 games. Only one person had better numbers than this. Who would that be?
Wilt Chamberlain.
No. Wilt Chamberlain might have had those numbers, but probably didn't record all the blocks at that time. David Robinson. Cleveland. So the college football playoffs have been set. How have you enjoyed the brackets? How have you enjoyed the first ever 12-team college football tournament?
You know, Cam, it's been interesting. I like a lot of things about it. Like we've been saying on the show, I like the thing that first round where you have the higher seed has the home game like in their stadium. That's a tough one to overcome. I like the fact the second one is kind of like in kind of a bowl game type of setting.
Yeah.
And then you just get to the final game, which is cool. But from my perspective, and maybe I'm wrong, it seems like what has really transpired is that I don't want to say they were right because they don't always get it right, but you don't need like 12 teams in it.
Well, no, I thought 8 was a good number. I thought 8 was a good number.
No, you don't really need like 12 teams in it because all those other teams that were like, ooh, we were 10-1 in the regular season.
Boise State.
It just got smashed. They just got smashed. And then use that next level. Okay. But that's only like, what, 8?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought 8 was a good number.
So, I mean, that's cool. But like 12, that's you're going to start to get like the number 12 team in the
Okay. But the first
because the top teams get the bye. Right. So like SMU going on the road, like what are we doing here, man? Like Tennessee going on the road, like what are we doing here, man? Like too many teams like in the thing. But there's a bunch of other teams that are gonna be like, oh wow, no, we need our shot, we need our chance, and it's like okay. But when you really break it down, it's like not really. You actually really don't. If you just were to let them vote for the top 4, it probably would have worked out very similar, right?
But we have a number 8 and number 7 ranked team playing for the championship.
That's a ranked team.
I mean, okay. I mean, that's what they're ranked. That's what their seed is going into the tournament. So it's not like the top 4 teams made it all the way. In fact, you had the 4 teams that had to bye lost their game, right? So these guys, so this tournament, I mean, I don't want to say it worked out perfect, but at least we have a number 7 and a number 8 team who's seeded playing for the championship. Granted, I think OSU, Notre Dame pulverized whoever they played. OSU did too, but they had a couple calls that kind of were in their favor. I think 12 teams might be too much, but then you still eliminate that guy, those teams who were on a bubble. Like there's no 13, there's no bubble at 13. Like Miami should have got in, they can cry all they want, but you lost 2 games in the final 2 weeks of the season. Similar thing what I'm saying to Sam Darnold. There's you have no argument in why you should have been in there. You lost the games that mattered the most. And so there was little argument for them. There's really no bubble teams in this tournament. Give the little guys a chance. I mean, sure, they're going to lose. They got pulverized, obviously. But they were in the tournament. They got a chance to show and prove. I don't think you can back it down to 8, but I think 8 was the number. I just don't think you can back it down.
Yeah, I just don't want to see it go to 16 like they're talking
about. No. I don't think you should go to 16. No, I think 12 is a number. 12 is a good number. Those guys get a chance. The Indianas get a chance. The SMUs get a chance. The Boise State, they get a chance. And if you're that good,
like you're saying, they got it by. Like so, it's the Tennessees and like you're saying, the Indianas and those type of teams, and that's cool. But do we really need to see it?
I mean, probably not. But here we are. We're gonna have a championship game. One thing I do like is, unless you gotta buy, you don't get those 2 weeks off. Maybe you can eliminate the bye, and if you eliminate the bye now,
because
if you eliminate the bye, then it throws your bracket all off.
Yeah.
But we got a month of good college football at the end of the season. Usually we don't get that. Usually we don't get a month of good college football games at the end of the season. We get a couple years ago we had the four game championship.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't like them little yapping ass dogs like barking at Rottweilers, man. It's like, man, stop that, man. This is not gonna end well for you. Especially now if you're on the road to like their home place.
College sports is about underdogs. College sports is about underdogs. So You got.
So you're asking my opinion again, Reggie Miller style. Are you asking my opinion, or
yeah,
I feel like those other teams are underwhelmed, and there's a reason that they're underwhelmed.
They're overwhelmed.
And that sorry, yes,
okay.
and that we saw that when you have to go to the road to their place after the season. Like that's another thing. Now next year it could be completely totally different, and these teams that are in that 5 through 12 are just way better, and it's way closer. But this year it wasn't close.
Okay, I mean, I can say as a mild college football fan, we do get some, and I didn't watch every game. Don't get me wrong. You get much better games late in college football season when this doesn't happen. This in the going in years past, you don't get a month of quality football, college football. Maybe there's a couple games, a couple bowl games. There end up being a couple bowl games that are worth watching. There's a couple. Recently we had the championship games, the 2 weeks of championship football. But now we had a month of good college football to watch. Like legitimately good game, good teams playing against each other, and you could just scratch those other games off as bye weeks. I do, to your point, the home field advantage is kind of like before the home is wild. Yeah, it's really wild. But like you say, maybe next year we have some underdogs with some Jaden Daniels goes into somebody's house and totally upsets them. Like that'll go down in history. Like that'll be a good ass. It's going to take a good ass player. Good ass team.
More like a 2 versus a 6, like 5 versus 12. Like I don't. It's the way it like lined up this last time. Like there was just like
I hear what you're saying, but I give the little guys a chance, man. They deserve a chance. If Boise State goes 11-1.
The boys are they didn't even have to go, they didn't have to go anywhere.
Well, so they lost the next week. They lost the second week. They were off the first week and they ended up losing the second week. So again, that was deserving of a chance. They played Penn State. They deserved that opportunity. They had the bye. They went to Penn State or they played Penn State and lost. Okay, I mean, you'd be better next time. I mean, that's an experience that they have. They'll be better, stronger. Excuse me, they'll be better for later. Let's talk about Hewers. Hewers declared for the NFL draft. I thought he should have went in the transfer portal because I really thought young Manning should have been playing most of the season. But there's not going to be any discussion about it next year. Sark says, yeah, Hewers. Unlike when Sanchez committed to the NFL and what did Pete Carroll said he's not ready? Sark says you got to go somewhere. I don't care where you go, but you got to get out of here. Next year is Manning's show. So go into the transfer portal. Bill Belichick didn't want him. If he couldn't go somewhere else and play for big money, he goes to the NFL draft, which is funny to say, right? You couldn't stay in college, so you go into the NFL draft. Where do you think Ewers get picked? First, second, third round. Where do you think?
Depends on the combine and the pro day, but I would say third round.
At best, yeah, third round. I bet. I agree with you. Impressed by Cooper Flagg yet? Impressed by him coming to save America?
Oh, not to come to save America in 4 years, no. But yeah, will he be the number one pick in the draft for sure?
What do you think about Hoosier fans yelling "Fire Woodson" during their loss to Illinois?
Yeah, I mean, Woodson puts himself in some tough situations coaching wise, and this is just another one of them. We'll see if he can pull it out, but Indiana Hoosiers are devout about what they want.
Are you interested in Tiger Woods' the golf league, TGL?
I saw a little bit of that, but no.
Did you watched it? Did you turn it on, or you just saw the highlights, or what?
I saw the highlights, man. I was like, no.
You're not
indoor golfing.
It's kind of at the wrong time too. I mean, Tiger, you got to set this up so this is in the summertime. This need to be July or August.
But in July or August they have outdoor golfing, so you can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that this is the right time, Tiger. You can't have this on during when NBA is really warming up.
Playoff
NFL. I mean, I don't know when you do it, but come on, Tiger.
Australian Open's on. Like, I'm not turning to like some pretend golf in a.
I mean, they put the way they present it is cool, but I mean, I just don't know where that's like the Chargers in LA, man. You're way down the totem pole, man. You're like way down on the totem pole. There's a lot more things going on in sports than the golf league. I don't know when you. Yeah. I don't know exactly when you do it. I don't know if you wait till after the Super Bowl to start this. I don't, right before baseball warms up. I don't know when you do it, but in the middle of NFL playoffs, college football tournament going on. Like, this ain't the time, fellas. I can create a content map and tell you that.
Well, at least not here in this country. Other places it might be like really popular. I don't know.
I mean, but they're trying to get golf as popular in this country. Like, they're trying, I guess. I don't know. You guys got to do something more. You guys got to work it out to where he did do it on the Tuesday night. No, yeah, he did. They did do it on a Tuesday night, but still, you're competing with the NBA as the NBA is warming up. Like, I don't know, Tiger.
So what you're saying and what you're not saying is a little bit of this arrogance, right? Like, oh, people are gonna watch just anybody swing clubs. Like, no, they'll watch Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Rory McIlroy. If one of those players are, and now they got old, they're not even good anymore. So it's like, what are we doing here?
Well, they try to get the young guys. I think that's what Tiger's doing. That's why he's playing. He tried to get the young guys, and now you see him playing with the younger guys, and maybe the young guys will be able to feed off of this momentum that they got. But no, Tiger. No, that I don't know who that's moving. I'm not a big avid golfer anyway, but I don't know how many golfers are being moved by this indoor golf that you're talking about. The FBS coaches are vote to shrink the transfer portal window down to 10 days, January 2nd to January 12th, to allow players and coaches to focus on the bowl games. Good move by coaches. Is this right on time, or what would you think?
Love it, man.
Yeah.
There's two things that need to happen, like the timing of the transfer portal, and this part will never happen. There has to be some type of a cap on like how much your program can spend on players. I heard something about some maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cameron. Like, there was some quarterback that was going to go to Duke that was like they were offering like $8 million. Like, that's like, what are we talking about here? I mean, that's more than like some starting quarterbacks in the NFL make.
Yeah. And that's why it's kind of amazing that Hewers decides to go into the draft versus
he went in the draft because it was soft and he had nowhere else to go. But that's different than like this is like something sight unseen. This is not like, okay, you played a couple seasons and okay, well, this is what we've decided that your value is. This is like freshman, sophomore in college. Like, what are we talking about? Like, did you really like offer someone that?
Yeah, I mean, okay. So when you talk about the kind of a cap limit, that's kind of weird that you say that for college athletes. But what I've always thought it was unfair for Notre Dame that Notre Dame especially the football team, that they don't participate in a league. They're independent, and they've always got all the money from the NBC, the NBC television rights, right? And now that they won one of their playoff games, they don't have to share like the other teams have to share that money they win with the rest of the ACC, the SEC, the teams. Notre Dame got that 20 million and it's all theirs. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of unfair is not the word, but it's just an imbalance.
Yeah, but they're very unique to that. All the rest of the schools are like, Penn State used to be like that as well, but now they're like in the Big Ten. So yeah, they're like the outlier with regards to that. It's really more in line with like, obviously there can't be a salary cap because then the SEC schools can't outbid each other, right? But there just has to be like, I don't know,
some government over it.
It doesn't have to be like really low. Like, so like, I'm okay with it with a salary cap that's kind of high, so that like there's only a few schools that really can participate in it, but it still puts like some type of threshold on it. A&M and Alabama and Georgia and Florida and Miami and Texas, they are completely in Oklahoma. They're completely going to lobby against having any type of like restrictions, right? Because they want to be able to spend as much money as is humanly possible to get the talent, which is fine. But when you start talking about a freshman quarterback making $8 million, like, where does this end? And when you start talking about like your season's over and you're transferring before the bowl game, or you're transferring.
That I totally agree with. I totally disagree with that.
In every agreement's like a 1-year deal, like every year. There's a series of 1-year deals for like 150 people. That's a lot to do.
But there's money out there, man. There's that money out there, and they're able to get paid for it. So, you got
those are the challenges that they face with this whole new NIL type of environment.
It's a whole new world, man, and they got some bumps.
Not just football, but like in all sports,
Yeah, we'll see it. I mean, we don't hear about it as much in basketball, but obviously that's kind of the pay for play kind of really kicked off. But
yeah, I was looking at that man Hunter Dickinson's still playing for Kansas. It's like, wow.
Hey, they're making a good life, man. And then
24 years old, like literally 24 years old.
Yeah, and what they say about those late, if you play past your sophomore year in college basketball, chances are you're really not going to make it in the NBA. So might as well have those guys play and go, take some of those teams to the Final Four, because the more experienced teams typically win that Final Four, right? But if those guys aren't going to go to the NBA, no reason they shouldn't play as long as they could in college basketball and make some extra dollars before they become insurance salesmen or a graphic designer or whatever they end up doing.
Fair point.
What do you think about am I pronouncing this right? Rocky Sasaki is where's he going to end up? Is it Dodgers without a doubt? Padres, Blue Jays? Why aren't the Mariners in the mix? Oh, they were money.
They were for a minute, but just like you said at the end of your statement, they don't spend any money, so he'll be a Dodger.
He'll be a Dodger without a doubt, and that's what they need. Fans, I want to thank you guys for if you made it this far. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Also, give Cleveland a round of applause for being part of the show, and then thank yourselves. Once again, this show, we can't do the show without you. We need your feedback. We need your inspiration as well. If you let everybody know about the podcast, we appreciate it. If you stuck around with us this long, leave us a comment and leave us a like, comment, and share on whichever platform you listen to listening to the show on, whether it be HMB Media TV. We thank you. Shout out to those guys, TP and Pavi, for doing their work, or the Voice of the Fans podcast or Spotify. Leave us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and we appreciate your time. And we, as we do each and every week. And fans, the quote I want to leave you guys with this week is, adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. William Arthur Ward. Adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. So everything doesn't go your way, man. Everything that our fans, everything doesn't go your way. Everything doesn't happen in your favor, but it's how you deal with that adversity that kind of makes you the true character who you actually are. Do you get down and pout and cry in a corner when something bad happens, or do you turn around and fight another day to kind of make things happen your way? Once again, adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. So go out there and break some records this week, or start the week off fresh and break some records next week. Thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast once again. And as always, fan, thank you for making our voice your choice.